What's up, Nana Nation and lovers of dunking your milk and cookies? I'm Anthony Hefe, recording live and direct from the Billy Shears podcast studio in lovely Milton, Ontario. And that through your screen or your earbuds is the one and only the Milkman. Milkman, what's up, baby?
I'm just living my best COVID life. I got a really important question for you. Got milk?
Oddly enough, I've got some adult milk right here. As you know, I'm fucking the new Keto Guido, and I've been soaking up this fucking White Claw. So, bottoms up.
Well, I actually brought milk to the table with a side of cookies. Cheers, baby.
Cheers, buddy. I think you're like the first adult since my old loser roommate to drink milk. Is that like cow's uterus milk?
Last time I checked, it's from a cow, but I mean, stranger things have happened, so I'll let you know maybe in the next episode.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't been able to drink like dairy milk in a long time. It just kicks the shit out of my system. Plus, I'm a fucking adult, so yeah, good on. You can still do that.
I only drink skim, so it's like the less of the evils. But I mean, for the show purposes, I brought it down. What's that?
I said that's like water with a touch of milk.
Pretty much.
All right. Okay, man. So episode 4 of Milk and Cookies. This show has been like very hot. I've got a couple messages of people just being like, yo, can you please have a little bit more like not safe for work warnings on it? And not just like, not warnings that you're about to be a chauvinist pig, but like warnings like, hey, before you download this, don't be a fuckhead if you have this on the speakers at work. So here's your warning. This is a not safe for work conversations of two bros being bros, broing out about hoes.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. It's not for the workplace. It's probably not for a lot of places.
Yeah. If you have kids in the backseat of your car right now, turn the podcast off. Or
please
listen to something else. Listen to another one of the fine podcasts on the After 30 Network. Tim Carr and the Midnight Owls just released episode 23, entitled Number Stations. Kind of creepy, but safe for kids.
Actually, a classic too. I just finished listening to that, and he's a pro, man, pro at his craft.
He's
great,
amazing. And season 3. Now, if you guys, just a quick little side note for Tim because he's awesome. If you don't know, Tim Carr does seasons. He doesn't do like a running thing like we do with other podcasts. So season 2 had ended a while ago, and if you want to catch up, if you want it faster than you can get at the Not for 30 Network, just find the Midnight Owl on any podcatcher, and you can fast forward through or binge listen through season 2. And season 3 is coming up. I talked to him last week, and season 3 is coming out soon with some format differences. But I don't want to take too much away from him. That's his show, and he can do all the hard work on that.
Absolutely.
This is Milk and Cookie.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
You got any other? You got any, like next episode? You come dressed as Santa Claus.
You never know, man.
I'm ready to get my milk and cookies.
I mean, it's a staple for Christmas, so you never know, man. That might be exactly right. All decked out in a fat man suit. Who knows?
Yeah, I gotta start this podcast off by asking you a quick question that I don't think we've ever touched on. We might have, but we might touched on it the first episode, but I can't remember because it's been so long. Do you have a preference on type of woman? Like, do you like only white women or only Asian women, or you love them all?
No, I love them all. You know what? If you were purple in the face and I was attracted to you, I'd still be down. Okay. But like, I gravitate more to like brunettes. I mean, on the Caucasian side, I mean, they just love the chocolate. So it's
easy picking.
Exactly. It's less. I don't want to say less work. Okay, maybe it's less work.
Can I ask you this? It's kind of a weird question, but yeah, I recently listened to a debate about it, and I'm just curious because I know where I stand on the fence with this question. But as a man of color, does that sound right? I don't even know if that's the right term, but a guy with a better tan than me. Do white women smell?
Define smell. Are you talking down the southern
Like,
equator or just?
I'm talking about like in general. Like, do they have like a stink about them? I'm not talking about like a scent. Like, some people have like their natural scent. I'm talking
Yeah.
about a stink, and I'll share how I feel about it after you go ahead. But is there, because the debate I was listening to is like that all white people have like a certain smell about them, but I believe it's also like culturally. I think if you're talking like the Bob Smiths of the world, like the real mungie of the mungie cakes, as us Italians call them, like I I think there is, and I've had occasions where hooking up with white women, there's a notable stink to them. But I'm asking you as a cultured man, how do you see that?
Uh, Not that I recall. I, I mean, I'm sure if there was a stench, I would be aware of it because I'm very particular on smells like BO. Like if something smells like BO, I run for the hills, or that ranted fish smell.
Right.
Down so like I run. But yeah, no, not in any of my encounters, conquests, if you want to call them. No, I haven't.
Like I for sure had noticed, um like definitely there's like some white women, and I mean, like, granted, like the game's different now, I get that, like I haven't been single in a long time, but I definitely remember hooking up with a couple of white women that definitely had some funk to them. One was a hipster, and I have like another theory about that. Like, hipster girls like barely shower, they're basically slightly cleaner hippies,
Mhm.
but definitely some white women are kind of like okay with like a more natural odor. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want it to make it like a big thing. I was just curious to start the pod,
Yeah.
because I thought we're actually dealing with any of those topics tonight, because we're not. But I was just curious because it been in my head. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna ask the milkman next time I see him.
Yeah, that's actually a great question because like you alluded to, we everybody has their own scent, but to like generalize it, like for Caucasians and blacks and Latinos, and no, I not that I've noticed.
Okay.
You know what, I
Well,
will pay attention to
yeah.
that.
Next time you're hooking up with a white woman, just like, you get in there, man. Don't be afraid to stretch it out a little bit and find out what's going on.
It's
But you know what? This is actually a great segue into the first question. Is it okay, or when is it okay, to fart in front of your significant other? Now, before you start, I want to ask this. There's like different degrees in this, right? Like,
Yep.
degree one, like first date, degree two, dating, three, like long-term serious relationship. Like, I think we start early. We start with the tier system and go like first date. Can you break wind? Can you cut the cheese? Can you call a ghost on the first date?
I definitely think if you can hold it in, you should, or run to a bathroom near you, or
Right away from nose shot.
or yeah, I just don't think you should reveal that side of you yet.
I believe I do agree that that is early on the first date. Have you ever on the first date?
No, I'm very particular when it comes to flatulence. Uh, Actually, my friends, they think I'm a weirdo because on every occasion I go to the bathroom when I have to go. I don't flatulate in front of people. Period.
Whoa! Look at you, next level gentleman.
Yeah, my mom has three sisters. She's a single mom. They made sure I wasn't gross. I would get that wooden
Melky.
spoon. Yeah,
Yeah.
wooden spoon
Um,
behind.
I wasn't a first date. It was like a double blind date. Not a double blind date, I should say. It was like, it was a blind date plus one. Like, she brought a friend, and it was like, the year was 2000. It was pre 9/11. Like, it was just like a casual thing. We are just gonna go out and like have a drink and like that. And I had got home from school or work. I ate a bowl of cereal. This is when I had regular milk. And I went on this date, and it was just gonna be like super casual, right? So I'm like, open-ended area, just like let one rip, and then I took like 8 steps forward, and it just like it got stuck in my jeans, and I remember the friend going like, "What smells like spoiled milk?" And like I went like fucking ghost white. I'm like, I don't know, like I don't really smell that. And I looked over at the girl, I'm like, "Do you?" And she's like, I think a little bit. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. So, needless to say, things didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably like, that dude fucking totally farted, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, when it happens, it happens. Sometimes you just can't hold it in. But it's my due diligence for it to not escape me while I'm conscious. Like when I'm sleeping, that's a different story. But
yeah. Okay, so what about in there, like the like couple dates in, whatever, like you're not gonna do it no matter what, but what if she does it? Like what if she does it at that stage? No, actually scratch that. Hit rewind for like 15 seconds. First date, what if she's just like, brr? You're in the movie theater, you reach over for some popcorn and she's like, brr?
Like playing the old trumpet. I mean, you're probably laughing your ass off, man. Because
what are you doing though? Like, how's Mel
me?
reacting to that?
Melky's probably taking a breather, going to the bathroom to laugh or decide if he's bailing or not, and then come back. But I'd probably laugh. I'd probably give her a high five and say, "Hey, you might be a keeper. Just probably not do it again."
Okay, but so you're okay with that? Like, you're okay if she does it, you just don't want to do it?
Yeah, like what, to each their own. If she wants to pop gas left, right, and center, go for it. Just don't fart in my face and don't Dutch oven me. Like that, those are the two things I'm not down for. But hey, you wanna release your toxic smell upon the world, man? Go for it.
Okay, so let's say like relationship farts. So like I remember this was my first long-term girlfriend, and she was like super proper, always like covering her mouth when she was chewing, and like if someone was asking her a question, like very proper and like very good manners, came from a very good household. And I remember one time we were butt naked, and she was laying across me, and I was kind of like sitting up, and I was kind of like rubbing her back, that kind of stuff, trying to give her a butt massage, but really just rubbing her back. And she's like, I gotta get up, I have to fart. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, just go. Now, side notation, air biscuit as opposed to a burp, because burps you have a lot of control over, and I'm not cool with that. Farting, I'm like, whatever. You know what? It hurts more to leave that in there than let it out. So just let it out. But dude, she farted, and I was like, because you have to smell it. You can't. If someone farts, you're like almost looking for it, right?
Yeah.
So
you can't avoid it.
I was like, yeah, you can't avoid it, right? So I was like, that smells like rotten pineapple.
All right, I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
How do you know what rotten pineapple smells like?
Very good question. Very logistical answer. I used to work in the produce department at a grocery store. So I'm well aware. And you can put two and two together. You know what pineapple smells like. Just think of pineapple smelling bad. Yeah. But that was like my first like non-relative girl farting in front of me experience. Now there's other ones to go with that. Like for sure, I remember going to the drive-in and finger banging a chick in my car, and I swear to God she farted. I swear to God she farted. And I thought for sure, and then she played it off like it was like a queef or something like that. But for sure, that bitch farted for sure. It didn't smell bad. Like I couldn't smell anything outside the norm. Plus, you had like the sex in the car smell. Yeah. So for sure, for sure she did. Anyways.
Oh, you're probably right. I mean, it was just air passing through.
Yeah, that'd be a little different. Okay, so, in any of your long-term relationships, have your girlfriends farted in your face?
one tried to, but I caught wind. No pun intended.
Plugged it up, like put your finger in her butthole so she can came on the other end.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, I threatened her. Like she was coming for me because all my friends know that I'm not a fan of it, and they all have these compile these plans like, oh, when he's passed out, we're gonna like put baby powder on our asses and roll around. It's never happened yet, so I always sleep with one eye open.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of girls. Yeah, I've had going back to your story during a massage too. Making your way to the butt and the crevice of the ass, and all of a sudden, like a little squeaker, and she turns beet red, and you're just like, it happens, man. Like, yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's natural. I know it's a natural thing. Just, yeah, no, it's just not for me.
Yeah, like I know that it's like you shouldn't poke fun at it because it's like very natural. It doesn't make it any less funny. And like I love fart jokes. I love farting. Um, and I've been told by my wife that I have like king ass ripper quality farts. Now, there's two different ways to grade a fart, I believe. The sound that it makes and the smell that it causes. Now,
Absolutely.
I am so I have like a form of IBS that is like it's not that big of a deal, but like if I have like the smallest urge to take a shit, I'm gonna take a shit. Like I'll finish breakfast and I'll be like, oh, 15 minutes? Yeah, I gotta go take a shit. So my butthole is like there's always something flying out of it, whether it be gas or feces, but it's stuff's coming out of it all the time. And I'm sorry if this is a little gross. Milk and Cookie's supposed to be a little sexual. This isn't super sexual, but I get it. But what I'm trying to say is there's not a lot of things that cause smell left in the chamber. So most of the time that stuff flies out, I don't know, upwards of 4 times a day. So I don't really like, there's not a lot of smell going on, but fucking noise, my ass is clapping all the time. I got biscuits flying out like this is some kind of cookie shop, Pew, you get a cookie, you get a cookie.
Like
got more hot air than a hot air balloon. So I've been told, like, no joke, my wife has this thing where she always like slapping my ass or pinching my ass or poking me in the butt. Excuse me. So like one time, like she always does it when I'm going up the stairs. So I remember having like a little gas in the chamber. I'm like, okay, this, she's gonna get it. So I remember going up the stairs and she slaps my ass so hard. Bah! As I'm every stair I'm going up, I'm saying 4 or 5 stairs, a little cheeky gas for each one of them. I try, and I've been known once or twice, not the Dutch oven, but more of the Dutch wave, where in bed, got the quaffing over. Now keep in mind, the smell isn't great, but not bad. It's not like you're choking anybody out, but it's more the sound. It's like it's the opposite of silent killer. A lot of sound, a lot of bark, no bite.
Oh, lucky for her then, because you know what it sounds like.
See, I left you. I left you. I left you speechless after that.
It just sounds like you're playing Beethoven's symphony.
That's exactly what it is.
Actually, I have. Well, this isn't me, but I have one of my best friends. Him and his girl. They make it a game, right? They just pop gas left, right, and center. Now, for him, he thinks, he read something somewhere that by farting, you're actually helping the world or helping the atmosphere. I don't know where he read it from. I think he's full of shit. But he'll always, when he releases, he'll look at you and say, "You're welcome," as a sign, as a token, right? And whereas she's the opposite, she holds hers in and then releases when he doesn't expect it, and it's toxic gas, like mustard gas.
Oh no.
So they're just like back and forth, and they laugh about it, and they think it's humorous. I'm just like, I guess that's a you thing, but yeah,
yeah, like I wouldn't be down. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if someone I didn't know did it, I'd be like, you motherfucker, you're getting kicked in the ass.
Yeah.
But like between me and my wife, we're having some like every now and then she'll try to rip one and think that I'm gonna be impressed by it. No, it sounds like someone like squeaked a balloon. That butthole's too tight for any of that stuff. Let me throw a couple of names out there, and you out of five being like the best name. one being not so great. I'm gonna throw a couple of these out there, and I want you to rate them, and we'll just do a like rapid fire. Okay.
All right.
Air audio,
Do I say it again?
anal audio,
Oh, anal audio. 3.
anal exhale,
3.
anal exhale, anus salute,
5.
anus applause,
4.
answering the call of the wild burrito,
5.
ass acoustics,
5.
ass flapper,
5.
backdraft,
4.
back end blowout,
3.5.
baking brownies,
That's a classic. 5.
barking spider,
2.
barn burner,
3.
the belching clown,
5.
the bench warmer,
And 1.
a booty bomb,
5.
booty cough,
4.
booty blast,
3.5.
bottom burp,
2.
burp out of the wrong end,
1.
bust ass,
1.
butt bazooka. Oh my, there's a fucking lot of these.
5.
Colon bolin,
5 just for cleverness.
dropping stick bombs,
3.
duck call,
1.
Horton hears a poo,
It's a big 5. 10-4.
laying an egg,
2.
a nasty cough,
3.
poop gopher.
1.
Okay, let's see. Some of these are not very good, but I'm gonna try to just steamroll through the back. Stepped on a duck.
1.5.
Steam pressing your Calvins.
Oh my god, that's a 5.
A taint tickle.
That's a 5 as well.
A turd tremor.
Oh god, 4.
Under thunder.
3.5.
And a whopper.
3.
Man, some people got too much time in their hands.
Way too much.
Okay. So one of my favorite comedians, Joey Diaz, has this saying. Now, I want a yes or no answer from you. Would you let a stripper fart in your face?
No.
Okay.
No, not happening. I wouldn't let my girlfriend fart in my face. Why would I let a stripper?
Oh,
No,
man.
it's been in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably some leftover cookies.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's very natural. People, don't be afraid of farting unless you're in front of Melky, and then clench those butt cheeks.
Please. That's all I ask.
Okay. Oh, actually, on that note, I got one more fart story, and then I want to move on.
Do share.
Now, this one is not of the sexual content, but it is very much about flatulence. And I used to play on a men's hockey team, and there was this like 300-pound Portuguese dude who couldn't skate. He's just like a boy's boy, you know, like you liked him there because he's like a shit talker and he was funny. And like every now and then some guy would accidentally skate into him and he'd crush this guy.
Wow.
But this dude, I don't know if he was eating some very ethnic Portuguese food or something extra oily. This dude smelled like he took a shit on the end of the bench. It melted the ice for sure. Like it was so bad. Like I was on one end ready to get onto my next shift. He was on the other end, and he was trying to wave it out of his hockey pants because you know that shit stays in there forever. He was trying to wave it out of his hockey pants, and it was quaffing over. And guys on the team, our own team, were freaking out. Guys skating by were like, "Whoa, what the fuck's that smell?" And I was like, I didn't know the guy enough. I just, from that point on, I couldn't even be close to that guy because I was just gross out. The smell was so bad. It wasn't like rotten food. It was just like it was a different smell of like it was you catch the smell and you can't identify it. That's what it was. Unidentifiable.
It sounds like it was so bad that you could taste it.
It was so bad I could feel it. Like
Ah,
it felt like someone hit me in the nose with a snowball made of shit. Like it was bad. It's bad. For those who are just listening and not watching, if you go on YouTube and go to the 25-minute mark in 20 seconds and you see my face, that's exactly how I felt.
yeah, your skin must have crawled because mine is right now. Just thinking
I
about
Yeah, I think there was like a shade of green that happened to me that day.
it.
All right, enough. Let's cleanse ourselves. Let's take a big sip of our beverages and cleanse ourselves. Maybe burn some incense or something.
Yeah, I might have to.
Ooh, question number 2, Milkman.
Let's get it.
Now, this question is a good one. Names in the bedroom.
Enough said.
I mean, you're the man with the nickname already, so lead us away. Like, what's going on here, dude?
Like I've been called Poppy, Daddy, Big Boy, uh, like your basic names, right? But I've called like the women I've been with, I've called them different names, and it's gotten me into trouble. Like there's this girl. I like to give like personal nicknames, just people
Right.
like. So there's this girl I was dating, and she's about 4'10". So, and she wore a lot of blue. So I called her Smurf, just for shits and giggles. And one night we were getting hot and heavy, and she called me Poppy, and she started to speak a little Spanish. She wasn't Spanish, but getting all ethnic and exotic, and getting turned on. And I was gonna call her Mommy, just to keep the flow going, but I accidentally called her Smurf. I called her Smurf, and she looks at me. She's like, "Really, really? Like, I don't mind you calling me that, like when we're out and about, but right here, right now."
Yeah.
I killed the moment, man. So she pushed.
Yeah. That.
I wasn't getting any cookies that
No.
day.
Yeah. She just farted in your face and left.
She may as well have.
I have always had a hard time with pet names in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It just feels like too unauthentic for me, and it's a mood killer for me. But I once was hooking up with this girl, and she was all about the shit talking, and it wasn't even like I didn't even find it that hot. But she'd say stuff like, "Oh, I'm your dirty whore, aren't I?" I'm like, yeah, you are. Like, yeah, I'm not. You are not meeting anybody in my family. Like, this is where, like, yeah, you are a dirty whore. Like, I couldn't get into it. Mind you, like, I think later on in life, I like, I was pretty young at the time, so I was always like thinking like kind of like, yeah, like this is like too degrading. And I was like a social feminist, um, at the time, right? Because I was like, yo, have a little bit more respect for yourself. Don't call yourself a dirty whore. But now like, I'm older and I'm like, oh, yeah, no, she was a dirty whore, fucking naughty dirty whore. But like, I couldn't get into it at the time, right? But I have this like weird streak in me because I like, like I got a name for my dick, like I'm sure you do too, right? Like, but I'll bring that into it, right? Like, I know every guy's got a different one, right? But like, I nickname my dick the dude, right? You're gonna suck the dude. You put the dude in your mouth, right? Like, I talk like that, and the dude's gonna go party in your back end, and then it's like that would be like the closest thing I got to a name. But then I had this dream, Melky, and I need your opinion because I don't want to sound like a little dick about this. But I had this dream, and I had the hardest hard on I've ever had. And the reason why I had the hardest hard on I've ever had is this girl was calling me the N word in my dream, right? So I started thinking to myself, I'm like, do I like that? Like, I woke up the next morning, I was like, should I ask my wife to call me the N word in bed? Because like, I had this like rager. I thought the skin was gonna rip. Like it was a raging rager, and I was like, do I like this? Do I like being? Do I want to say it? Like what's going on right now? I couldn't put my finger on it. It sat with me for years. This is actually the first time I've actually mentioned it.
Yeah.
But like times pass, and I feel like it might have been a phase because also at the time, like I was dealing with a friend and his issues and that kind of stuff. So I felt a little bit different about it. So maybe like some subconscious thing that I want to be like in the battle with him. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But A, are you offended?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Not
And
at
B, I was like, is that hot or not? I don't know.
I mean, that sounds like some next level shit. Like,
right? Like the last page of Pornhub, you're gonna find it there. Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah, you know what? You can't really argue with your subconscious. So whatever you were dreaming about, whatever you were dealing with, it obviously turned you on to like to a degree where you woke up with like a major chub, and the guy was ready.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. And then there's all these pictures of me on the internet when COVID started with my big old wang hanging out the side of the bed. It's just a thing, you know. Like I don't know. Like I tried to like read more into it, but I think it comes down to one of those things as being like, I don't know. Like I think at the end of the day, it came down to like, did I want it because I couldn't have it? Like was that it? Maybe.
Could be like, you know, that forbidden fruit, right?
I think so. But then as a black dude yourself, how do you like, would you be cool if like some bitch was like, yo, F me, you effing F word? Like, would that be okay?
Actually, I was gonna jump onto the story, and I was actually not okay. Like, I don't, you know, people use the word all the time. It is what it is, but I don't like when someone uses it directly towards me. So I was, and it was, ironically, it was with a black woman too. Yeah.
Okay, so was she saying it with an A or an ER?
No, she was saying it with like ER, like it was straight out
like aggressively, like
yeah,
derogatory.
Guy picking cotton back in the day, like yeah, like she was aggressive about it, calling me the N word, saying who's my dirty
Whoa.
Like
you're like, whoa, bitch, listen, I'm only half.
Oh man, like she was taking it to like another level, and I tried to, you know, man up and just go with it because I'm getting some booty, right?
Right.
But I couldn't like halfway through. I'm like either you say something else or I'm done. And she refused to, so I said no.
Oh.
I'm like I'm not that desperate for ass, so
yeah.
Good luck to you and your little friends.
Yeah. Like fair to say, it's like a very sensitive topic to start, but to go overly aggressive about it and like, even like, okay, like I don't know how much it really matters, but like if you're saying it ER or A, if you're saying it A, it's supposed to be a word of endearment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
ER derogatory. If she's going ER plus being like, when you're done effing me, go pick that cotton. Like, okay, like
yeah, maybe. It was getting pretty personal, and it's just like there. I don't mind role playing. I love role playing. It can be very fun, but not to that magnitude. It was over the line. She threw up back basically on that line, and like I said, I'm not desperate enough to like, you know, get some ass, you know, from someone who's that ignorant. So I said, fuck it.
What was that, like a one and done? You never smashed again?
Oh yeah, never talked to her again. I blocked her as soon as I left. It was block, delete. You know, like you're done. You can go to the fucking cotton fields, man.
You pick your own fucking cotton.
That's right.
Other than that, I've always, because my initials are PA, I've always wanted to like hook up with a Latin chick and be like, I want her to call me Poppy. But even at that point, now that I'm actually a Poppy, it's different, and my wife tries to do it, and it's just not the same. Like, I don't even know if I want any nicknames anymore. I more want like, I don't like verbal doesn't do a lot. I like sounds, but I don't like words. If that makes sense.
Do you get turned on more by sounds than words?
Easily. Words don't do anything for me. Although, if it's like if we're texting back and forth, and she's like, I want you to do this, 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 blah blah blah, I'm in. Yeah. But if she's like, she starts like fucking citing Shakespeare, I'm not down. Like I'm not interested in that. You know, like I'm more like, show me what your mouth can do as opposed to what it can say.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the way it should be. I get turned on by words. I feel like if you can really articulate and master it, The orgasm's a lot better, man. Like you were alluding to being called the girl, being called a dirty whore, and I love that shit. I love when they get filthy, and they're like, spank my ass as red as a tomato,
right,
or whatever. Like I love that. I just think it just adds to the experience.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like I'm not saying like things you're gonna do, but if she's like talking shit, like she's like, oh, you're gonna fuck me really hard. I bet you're gonna fuck me really hard. You're like, I'm no, too much, too many words. Shut up.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. It's like obviously, like.
Yeah. No, my plan was I was gonna fuck you very gently, kiss you supplely on your neck, and then ejaculate onto your chest. It's not gonna happen.
And while I do that, sing "Sweet Child of Mine."
yeah, exactly. Well, fucking Skinner's playing, and we're gonna fuck at the guitar solo. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Like I don't. Do you have like the worst name you've ever been named, other than obviously what Bree said?
Yeah, actually, it's called Panda. And I don't know why, because I've been fat, but I wasn't fat at that time, and it was with that girl called Smurf.
Yeah,
it's called me Panda, and it was from that movie Kung Fu Panda.
Jack Black classic.
Yeah, absolute. And she just felt like the need to call me Panda, and I mean, I get it. I'm like biracial, but like,
yeah.
I don't resemble a panda at all. I found that strange, but no, I'm like every other name has been pretty awesome, pretty on point. And, I can't complain.
In another lifetime, like the Italian Stallion moniker was attached to me, and I loved it, right? Because I had like these great flowing locks, and I was in good shape, and it was easy to talk to girls for me, so that was never an issue. Yeah. But I had this one girl. She's like, oh, you think you're a stallion? Can I ride you? I'm like, yeah, bitch. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. But like, can we not talk about it? Can we talk about like basically anything else? Yeah. I first of all, I hate when girls think they're clever and they're not. If you're clever, that's cool. But you're not. So stop
it. I get more of like, do you taste like chocolate? Sort of speak, like because like, okay, little revealer here, the darkest part of my body is below the equator, so
feet,
exactly, right? and so it's almost like putting a chocolate bar in your mouth, and
yeah, go on.
So I always get that question, are you milk chocolate, or can I melt in your mouth? And I'm like, well, you could try, like, let's see what happens.
Fucking the advantages. Like, what do I have, Melky? What do I have? The skin flute, the like, it kind of looks like one of those cats with no hair on it. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? There's nothing. There's no great equivalent.
Like Mr. Bigglesworth.
Would you like to try this? Would you like to try this parsnip? Who eats a fucking parsnip?
And no one's down for parsnip.
Like, well, this kind of looks like a potato that I just pulled out of the ground. I don't know. I got nothing.
I mean, sorry, not sorry.
You definitely have an advantage of having an awesome tan.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. For whatever reason, my Jamaican mom got together with my Jordanian dad, and they made a bunch of kids. So
there it is.
Thanks, Mom.
Melky, let's move on to a bonus question, and this is mostly for the people that have reached out and saying, hey, like, I'm glad NA30 is kind of going back to their roots. So this question is a strict hookup question, but whenever you're listening to this, I'm sorry if the timeline doesn't match up, but we just had Halloween a couple of days ago, and a COVID Halloween is not really Halloween. But Melky, you got any spooky hookups, any Halloween tears, any Halloween horrors?
Yeah, actually, I have one that involves the Goobster. I mean, he wasn't there, but
you hooked up with Gooby?
He wishes. No. No, he was there though. So Gooby and I and I think a bunch of other people, we went to this Halloween party thrown by a mutual friend of ours, and it was whack. Like it was straight shit, as I like to say on Show Us Your TDs, a dumpster fire. And at the time, I was talking to a shooter girl that I met a few weeks prior, and she was working. And she said, "Why don't you guys come down to the strip club? I'll take care of you. You know, it's Halloween. It's gonna be fun." So I look at Gooby, and I said, "Hey," I present him this idea, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it, right?" So, we go to the Rips. Yeah, we get in. Everything is good. And, fine and dandy at first, but you can't like see anything, and we're like, "What the hell's going on?" All you can see is like costumes kind of floating up in the air, and we're just like, "What the fuck is going on?" So apparently, I don't know if they did this purposely, but the girls were, and this is gonna sound horrible, but the girls were so dark you couldn't see them unless they smiled. So Gooby and I allude this to as chocolate night at the,
Okay.
which I love chocolate. I had no qualms, but Gooby, he's a little different cat.
A little
So
bit nervous.
yeah, exactly right. So we sit having a couple drinks. My shooter girlfriend comes by, sits on my lap, tries to pay attention to me, but she's got to make her money too. And man, like I've never seen like so many ugly rippers, and not just because they were like black too, but like they were all sorts of colors. But it was just like it was on a Saturday too. That's the thing. So you think their prime
Yeah.
would be out.
18.
Yeah, exactly. And no, it was just like horse shit. I'm supposed to be getting turned on to, hook up with the shooter girl. I'm not getting turned on. Like it's wobbly wobbly down there, and the Goopster's not having fun. Like we're just cranky as shit. So we're about to go, and she pulls me aside. She's like, "No, no, no, just wait a minute." And I'm like, "Okay, we're not having fun. You're busy, obviously." She's like, "No, I'll make sure I take care of you." Okay, fine. So we stay. She ends up getting drunk on her shift. And I was pretty half in the bag. Gooby was the DD, so Gooby ended up taking us back to her place, and then Gooby just goes off, flips me off, and says, "Yo, thanks for a shitty night."
Yeah.
The
Like
party.
a good friend.
Yeah, I get it. He is a good friend. He's a solid dude. So her and I are, getting hot and heavy, and I guess she was a cokehead, so I guess she just forgot. But I'm about to go down there, into the Cave of Wonders, and wow, she's got a hairy bush.
Okay.
Just ruined the night for me, and it wasn't just like a little bit of hair; it was a bush, man.
It
Like
was like coast to coast.
it was coast to coast.
Damn.
She just forgot. I was looking for like hedge clippers or something. She said,
Damn.
oh, just yeah, just it was such a shitty night. I realistically I should have just stayed at that party. Um, she's like, "Oh, I'll do all this too." I'm like, "You just ruined the moment." I'm like, "He's not gonna go up, man. Just know
He
what
dead. He's
yeah."
dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
So yeah, like it was a pretty lousy night, and
Man.
it didn't
I
ruin anything for her and I. Just like that night, I thought we were gonna have some crazy Halloween sex, and yeah, no.
see like I feel for you, dude. I don't have any like A1 stories, but I do have this like ridiculous one from college where we had like I went to Humber College. There's this big foam party, and everyone's like in costume, and like I was like, I'm not gonna go. But the week before, I met this girl, and she's like, "Are you gonna be here next week?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah, for sure, I'll be here next week."
Yeah.
So we didn't exchange numbers. I just was looking forward to seeing her. So like everything looked good. Out of all the fucking things I could have went dressed up as, legit, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm a fucking broke ass college kid. I went as a fucking cowboy because I had a cowboy hat and I had
Giddy.
jeans and I tucked like this plaid shirt in and I wore like this belt with a stupid belt buckle. I remember showing up and like the girl was there, so I went up to talk to her and she acted like she didn't know me. And I was like, oh, that's fucking ice cold. I was like, we hung out last week, we made out last week, everything was cool. She's like, oh, I was really drunk. I'm sorry. I'm like, Yeah, me too. Cool. But still a fucking foam party, right? So I'm like, ah, fuck it. I'm just gonna get drunk and I'm gonna deal with it. I couldn't shake the I feel like shit vibe. Even though there's like these bros that were like, like they're all like fucking taking their shirts off and they were like diving into the foam and they're coming out with like foam all over them. This one guy poured a whole pitcher of beer into his work boot and drank it. I was like,
Oh
this
wow.
is like these have all the makings of being like a great night, but I'm so out of it. And then yeah, whatever. So like that was like a depressing, like shitty story. I do have one good story. My friends threw a party, and I only remember because it came up on Facebook. It happened 11 years ago, and my buddy went dressed as Ace Ventura. I went dressed as Nacho Libre, and we went to a friend's costume party, and he hooked up with a ex coworker of mine, and I'm driving everybody back home. I'm DD that night, and he's like fingering this broad in the back of my car, and he's fingering her not only so vigorously, but I can hear it and I can smell it.
Oh,
Yeah, it was so
it
bad
smelled
that
cookies.
when I finally fucking kicked those kids out of my car,
Yeah.
I looked back and there was a wet mark on my fucking seats,
Shit.
and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna fucking park this car with the windows down and deal with it in the morning. Thank God in the morning I couldn't smell anything in my car. My car was fucking freezing, and thank God it didn't rain. But yeah, I'll never forget it. Also because like 3 or 4 days later, I saw her at work. I'm like, so you and Ace Ventura, and she's like, yeah, shit. Can we never talk about it again? I'm like, no. You need to fucking steam clean the inside of my fucking car. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
No good hookups. I remember making out with this one chick, but my mouth tasting like face paint, and like that was a bad experience. Other than that, I don't have any like cool hookup story. I hate Halloween. I don't like it. I like candy. I don't like dressing up. If you're over the ages of 12, don't fucking dress up. You're a loser. And everything after that, like fuck Halloween. I hate it. I hate being scared. I hate spooky shit. I'm out. Fuck you, Halloween.
I don't mind Halloween because the girls, as they say, it's the one neat time of year they can dress as sluts, even though they do for the most part. I actually got I got a funny one. I was dressed as Darth Vader a couple times, but this one year I went all out. Like I had the mask, the costume, and I had the lightsaber. And we're at some club, and met some girl. We were both drunk as fuck, so we decided to go to take it from there. This Darth Vader costume doesn't have a zipper, and the way to get it off is it's tied up from the back. So I have to untie it and then take it off down, and I only had my boxers underneath. So I'm panicking, but I have this lightsaber in my hand. So she's bent over. This lightsaber extends. I use the lightsaber on her instead of my.
Oh my goodness, dude.
And I mean, I didn't get mine, but at least she had a good time.
Yeah,
I used
I think
force
at the end of
that
the
day.
day, I
I still
can't.
have that lightsaber, by the way. It's somewhere in a drawer, but
Yeah,
I
dude, it's no longer. It's now a fleshlight, dude.
wing.
Fuck. I mean, I don't know any better way to end this podcast, really. Um, First and foremost, Milkman, you got anything else you want to put out on this app?
I think we touched base on pretty much everything, man.
Melk and Cookies, episode 4, farts, names, and lightsabers.
Fresh out the oven.
Ah, fuck. For the Milkman, Melky Cabrera, I'm Untitled Hefe. This is Milk and Cookies. We'll pour you another glass next time.
That's definitely the way the cookie crumbles.